I don't think he gives himself enough time in between fights to give the best version of himself every single time. And then when you get another guy like this who stylistically is gonna tie him up, who's also a southpaw. Khalil Roundtree was a southpaw, gave him some tough challenges in that fight as well. I just think it's I think he maybe should have taken a little bit more time, but either way, hats off to Ankalaev. He got it done. I just those are a couple of things for me. I would love to see Pereira just take some time, not spar, maybe do some tech work, pad work, but I think he needs to give his head some time to recover. He's 37. There's only so many shots to the head you can keep on taking before the chin is just gone. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the weekly scraps type shit.
The weekly type scraps, bro.
Weekly. Yo, New York slang is the best. I'm just going to say that.
New Yorkers just say weird shit for no reason. Like, you guys put type in the middle of a sentence for no reason.
Like, it's type cold outside. So this way you know how cold. Because if I just say it's cold outside, you're going to be like, oh.
But the you adding type in there doesn't change anything in the sentence that, like, makes me, like, is it colder than normal or less cold than cold? I don't know.
So if I go, it's cold outside. But if I go, yo, it's type cold outside, you're going to be like, ooh, I should probably get a jacket or like a hat or maybe even a scarf. Maybe even some earmuffs.
Yeah, but if you said it's cold outside without the type, I still feel like I need a jacket. And I don't wear earmuffs because I'm not that type of guy, but...
What are you trying to say? I wear earmuffs. You got earmuffs on right now. Look at you with your earmuffs.
I'm not... No, these are expensive headphones, my friend. It's a different thing.
Expensive earmuffs. It's okay.
Because my other expensive headphones died, so I used the backup expensive headphones. Type.
You can't just say type at the end and don't say nothing.
But you guys just throw it anywhere. Like, there's no rhyme or reason why there's a type added in the sentence. Like,
well, you got to say something else after. You just said type, so I'm waiting.
That light is type bright. What the fuck is type adding to the?
Nah,
like,
that's not like a good scenario to use type in. But if you say, yo, it's type hot outside right now. Yo, it's hot. That means you gotta like dress for the occasion.
Yo, it's type stinky in here. Like, what is type? Like, if I just said it's stinky in here versus type stinky in here, what's the difference?
Type shit.
Alex Pereira was type robbed, if you really think about it.
Alex Pereira lost a fight type shit, but he kind of won type shit. You know what I mean? You see how tight kind of just.
Bro, I could see like Dennis being like, Alex Pereira type won that fight.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I have no idea what the fuck you mean.
Type
when
shit.
You say type, like now I'm confused because you added some New York slang in there. New York slang's just mad confusing.
It's a good adjective. But nah, that fight was... After the fight, bro, I tell you this, we all just sat in the house, dejected, just like deflated, unamused, unenergetic, we were just flatlined. Like, there was no heartbeat left in that house. It was like
you
sad.
love Pereira that much?
No, it was a sad ending. It was just like, I didn't care if Ankalaev won the fight, but the way he won, the way it was just like, damn, that just robbed me of all my energy. Because I came up here. I came into the fight here thinking like Ankalaev might do something crazy or Pereira going to do something crazy. And then it unfolded and I was just like, after round 2, that one moment where Ankalaev stunned him and I was like, oh, he might, this is about to be crazy. And then type shit, it just went to like... It wasn't great. Everyone in the room was just like, I don't know how to feel. And I was like, yeah, it's a weird feeling. I don't know what to do with myself right now. Type shit. You know? But hats off to Ankalaev. Long time coming for him to get the title shot. One of the things I saw was his Alex Pereira's ex-wife making a video like No More Chama. I was like, yo, That's foul, bro. That is foul. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of their
That's
relationship.
so crazy.
But that's so like, you probably should. I don't know. I feel like the wrong place. Maybe for her, it's just petty wop. I don't know. But damn, I was like, damn, that's cold blooded.
I did think. I thought about her today. Like, I didn't even see that video, but I thought about her, and I was like, what's it like when Alex Pereira leaves you, and then he's just the most famous fighter in the world, and you just have to like watch him dominate human existence for like 2 years after he leaves you. Like, how does that feel?
I don't know. That's a question I don't think I can ever answer.
Like, does she root for him or not? I don't know. That's just my.
But it depends on the ins and outs. I mean, obviously, I don't care about their drama or whatever, but I just thought that was kind of cold, a little cold-hearted to see. I was like, oof. I mean, you could have sent him a text like to do that. She made a video, bro, like in the whatever she was in the car or whatever. I was just like, damn, no more Chama. I was like, oh, she just took the dagger and just said,
I mean, she was kind of mid anyway, so.
But then I looked at her page. I was like, because they tagged her, and I saw that she followed me. And I was like, damn. I was gonna comment, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a nice person.
What would you have commented?
I was just gonna be like, damn, that was cold. Like, I don't think that was called for. There's like, I don't know. We have like, as men, we have like a thing where it's like you don't kick another man while he's down, even if you have like beef. But some guys cross that line anyway, and they're still gonna be talking shit no matter what. If you're winning or losing, like DDP versus Brendan Allen, like him attacking him right after he lost. It was like, damn. He's like, I can tell you what's not next, and that was the fighting for the belt, obviously. I was just like, oof, these guys, man, those are things that just sting. I remember having one of those with like Cody Garbrandt.
What happened?
Like, we both fought on the same card. I fought Brian Caraway. I had my first pro loss. He had a big win as the I think main card, or I think it was co-main or the main event. Knocked out Thomas Almeida in the first round, and he went this way, I went that way, and I had tweeted something and he like shit on me, bro. I was like, oof. I can't even say anything. I was just like, it's just one of those things I had to bite my tongue. It's just like, this burns.
Now
as a man, it just burns. But
now you guys are cool though.
Yeah, of course. But success is the best revenge. And when he came on his humble grace coming down from heaven, I welcomed him with even though we had our little beef thing or whatever, I like gave him some words of encouragement, So I don't know. It wasn't like I did like message him in his DMs or whatever, but it was just like, I don't know. I'm just not like, even I can not like you, but I can still have like respect for everything you've done, So it's a little different. That's the way I look at it. But
let's talk about this fight though. So I was looking on Twitter. I was seeing what the fans were feeling. I saw an interesting take, and I wanted to get your opinion on it. So there's a good argument that Pereira actually won that fight. And I'm going to lay it out for you. Pereira outstruck him in 4 out of 5 rounds, if you look at the significant strikes landed. And the UFC provides all these stats.
Which
also
aren't always accurate. But continue.
This is fair. Ankalaev went 0 for 12 on takedowns. And he had a little bit of control time here and there, but I don't know if that really... If Pereira actually did land more strikes, I don't really know if that control time means anything. So it was definitely kind of there wasn't much action in the fight, but I guess a lot of people think maybe Pereira got robbed.
Robbed is a strong word.
I mean, do you think Ankalaev won that fight?
Watching it in real time, I leaned towards Ankalaev to get the decision.
Yeah.
But I wasn't sure if it was 3-1 or 2-2. And I say this because I don't know what the judges are looking at. So I judge from what I think the judges have it, not what I actually think it should be. So a lot of people might actually think I'm calling it based on how I would score a fight, but it's not actually how I score a fight. I score it based on what I think the judge is gonna have it. I go like 10-9. What's the name? Whoever, because I think they might have won the round on the judge's opinion. But clearly, none of us know how to score fights, and the judges are these God-given figures that can score fights and have no answer for their judgments, and they get to just keep changing everyone's career and the trajectory of their career paths, their lifestyle, their earnings, with no repercussions. It's the craziest thing to me. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how to score fights anymore. I really don't. So I'm just, at this point, I'm kind of like, do I just watch the fights and just shut the fuck up? Like, it's tough.
So I mean, so let's just say Pereira did outstrike him in 4 out of 5 rounds. Would that make you reconsider who you scored the fight for?
Yes. Because I thought, I'm looking at the stuff that Pereira's doing and Ankalaev are doing, and I'm trying to balance it out, and I'm going, which one of those strikes weigh more in the factor towards damage? So I'm looking at him like, well, Pereira landed some good kicks. He landed like a hard jab here and there. Ankalaev had a couple flurries here and there, but a lot of it didn't really connect. But he was the aggressor. He was pushing him backwards. And then I know the scoring criteria, when the strike count is relatively even, you're supposed to go to octagon control or ring generalship, whatever you want to call it. And if you're going to score that, then I kind of lean towards Ankalaev in that regards. I think for a fact, Pereira round 1, Ankalaev for sure round 2, round 3 and round 4. 3 was the swing round for me. I just didn't know how to score that. And then round 4, Ankalaev for sure won. So I was like, maybe it's 2-2 going into the 5th. And then round 5, I thought Pereira landed the harder, significant strikes, but then Ankalaev pushed him against the cage for about a minute and a half, tied him up, landed a couple knees, nothing like crazy, but landed a couple knees. So then I kind of have to look at it like, well, does that score more than the hard, significant shot or two that Pereira landed in the beginning of round 5? So that's kind of the way I was looking at it. But again, I'm not a judge. I don't know what these guys are scoring in terms of a fight. I know what hurts more. Getting punched in your damn face hurts way more. So if there's one guy who punches you in the body and the legs way more versus one guy who lands more headshots, what do you, in your opinion, score more? I don't know what's fighting anymore. I really don't know. At the end of the day, I thought it was just trying to hurt your opponent more than they hurt you. So I don't know.
I'm looking at it now.
It was a lackluster fight either way. Pereira didn't do too much. Ankalaev didn't do too much. But as Ankalaev coming in as a challenger, I think you do have to take it from the champ. But again, based on the scoring criteria, that's not a scoring criteria. So I think, in all fairness, Ankalaev should have gotten the nod. But I wouldn't have been mad if Pereira had gotten the fight or if it was a draw. I mean, I don't know.
So, I mean, I think... So, actually, significant strikes, Alex Pereira got outstruck in 3 out of 5 rounds. But in total strikes landed, Alex landed more in 3 out of 5 rounds.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird. So I don't know how they decide what's a significant strike or not.
Exactly.
But it's weird. I mean, I would say Ankalaev won, but it wasn't like a super impressive performance. I feel like he either... so this is what I wanted to ask you. He kind of had Pereira on his back foot the whole time.
Yep. Which was shocking.
Which is... Yeah, like no one ever does that. So I was like, did he figure out Pereira's weakness, or was Pereira having an off day for one reason or another? I saw something on Twitter that he might have had norovirus or like a broken foot or both or something like that. I mean, did you think anything was off, or did you just think Magomed Ankalaev had his fucking number?
I think Magomed just had the better night, not by much, but I just think Ankalaev had a better night for sure. And a couple of factors for me, Pereira fights way too often 3 title defenses in 7 months. That is insanity to do that. And it's not like his fights were pitter-patter fights. You could say the Jamal Hill one was no damage. Okay, cool. I understand that. The Jerry one, he took some damage in that. And then the Khalil Roundtree fight was a big fight where he took some good shots. And then you go from that, add on to the fact that he bounces back from these fights and he goes right back into the gym almost 1, maybe 2 weeks later. You compound that with the amount of times that he's sparring. When does Pereira give himself, his body, and his brain and his chin a chance to take a break and just recover? I don't think he gives himself enough time in between fights to give the best version of himself every single time. And then when you get another guy like this who stylistically is going to tie him up, who's also a southpaw. Khalil Roundtree was a southpaw, gave him some tough challenges in that fight as well. I just think it's I think he maybe should have taken a little bit more time, but either way, hats off to Ankalaev. He got it done. I just, those are a couple of things for me. I would love to see Pereira just take some time, not spar, maybe do some tech work, pad work, but I think he needs to give his head some time to recover. He's 37. There's only so many shots to the head you could keep on taking before the chin is just gone. Case in point scenario, Bobby Green. And I know it was a wheel kick, so anyone's going to go, oh, but he got hit with the crazy shot. What are you, stupid? Listen, that's not even the point. When he got hit with that, he completely just, like someone just flipped the switch, just flatlined. It wasn't even like, it was like almost like he just crumbled over. And of course, that was a devastating shot. But again, you look at his past few fights, the amount of damage he's taken, the type of style that he fights. If you don't give your body and your brain some time to recover, it gets easier and easier for those eyes to roll into the back of your head and just shut off completely. The body's just gonna be like, no, I'm good. I'm gonna protect myself. Do. That's a
hard is it
Microsoft reference. I'm sure you're too young to understand that one though.
No, that was terrible. Anyway.
Damn. Type shit.
How hard is it to stay locked in when you have all of that success and commotion going on for so long? It's almost like condensed into 1 year. Like you had a similar kind of thing, I feel. Like at some point does the success stop motivate? Like does it become too much? Do you get burnt out, or how does it feel?
I for sure think you get burnt out. I can't speak for Ankalaev and Pereira, especially Pereira, right? But I think there's something to missing fighting and wanting to be in the gym, wanting to be in the octagon. But it's not just wanting to be in there, it's the hunger to be in there. I think in a situation like Pereira, he's been in there so often, so frequently, training so hard. Your body is a machine, but if you run that thing to the ground, don't give it the stuff that it needs, yeah, you could do that in between fights and whatnot. But again, if you're not giving the brain an opportunity to reset and miss it a little bit, I think it's eventually going to come to a crash. Now, that was also my talking point when I say some of these guys, they fight so infrequently where they only need to be good one time. Whereas some of these guys are fighting way more often, so they're rolling the dice way more often. And, of course, in a situation like this, you're the champ. You're fighting this often. You're super popular. People are knowing you as the guy who never turns down a fight, always steps up on short notice, saves the cards. But that type of style, you see all the videos of him sparring. He spars with no headgear, which I don't spar with headgear either. It's a pain in the ass unless my nose is busted and I got to protect something. But I'm not getting into these trading wars. He's boxing these 6'7" behemoths, and they're cracking him. He's cracking them. Like, yo, bro, you're having fights outside of the fight. And then when you get to the fight, you got these small gloves on. What do you think is going to eventually happen? Like, the body can only take so much. We're all human. We are all human. That's my rant on that. I still think Ankalaev and Pereira should have an immediate rematch. But I would like to see Ankalaev get his victory tour, 6 months, at least minimum. Same thing I said about Merab. Any new champ should get an opportunity to enjoy themselves, the fruits of their labor, celebrate it, get some downtime to relax, reset, And then, now remember, I'm talking 6 months later. This guy fought 3 times in 7 months. That just is like, if you can't comprehend that because you've never been in the gym to understand what a training camp is actually like, then there's no other way I can explain it to you, you know? So I would like
And
to
he's
see him take
38
the
years
time off
old
to
too.
reset and then come back. To who?
He's 38 years old too. Like,
Well, it said 37 on the screen, so at least unless
or
he just turned 38. But
or
either
30.
way, it
I
was
mean, same difference at that point. But so if they do get the immediate rematch, what adjustments do you think Pereira needs to make to get the win based off this fight?
I would say a little more volume, maybe some more feints. Definitely can't keep going backwards on his back foot the whole time. Stay off the cage. Ankalaev literally cooked the whole fourth round by pushing him against the cage. And I know some people were complaining like, "Oh, that shit was boring." He did that only one round, and people were bitching. It was like, just say you wanted him to stand up and strike so that Pereira had more of a chance to possibly land one of those crazy left hooks. I understand what you wanted. I will kind of wanted to see the same thing, but at the same time, if I'm Ankalaev, I'm going to take the path of least resistance, make it fun, but also be smart about it. Bank a round or two, and if you need to open up and entertain for some parts of it, take some chances, take some risks. Okay, that's a calculated chess match. But to just go out there and just reckless abandon, just think I'm just going to strike, no level changes, no feints. I'm just going to sit there and trade punches with one of the hardest strikers out there is just super naive.
No, definitely. I mean, but Pereira did crack him a couple times, but it didn't seem to phase him.
He cracked him with a jab, and that was round
He did.
5, the one that I'm talking about. And
I
he landed
saw him land
that
like
leg
a.
kick to the head kick that wrapped around Ankalaev's arm and hit him, connected, pushed him back a little bit, stumbled him. Um, it was a good fight from a technical aspect, and the anticipation of will Pereira get this guy or will Ankalaev get him down and drown him? And he couldn't get him down. But those are the adjustments that I think he can make immediately. And if there was something off with him, I don't know. But just based on this performance, it just wasn't the best version of Alex Pereira that I've seen. And I think a lot of it has to be credited to Ankalaev's pressure. And he even said himself his pressure was a weapon in this fight, just going forward and being the aggressor. The threat of the takedown stifles a lot of the offensive attacks of most strikers.
Yeah, I mean, his takedown defense was great.
But
All right, so
damn, no more Chama for now.
I don't know. I think some time off, and then reassessing the game plan. I think he could come back, and the next fight is going to be a lot better to watch.
Yeah. It's a tough challenger, man. It's not an easy matchup. You get a well-rounded guy like Ankalaev who can strike, who can wrestle, good fight IQ. You know, before I was saying I think Pereira has a better fight IQ, but I said that because Pereira has fight the higher level of competition overall versus Ankalaev. Now Ankalaev has a huge feather in his cap, outgaming one of the best guys, one of the most popular guys and dangerous fighters out there. So I think a lot has to be credited to him, his team, his game plan, and just overall, honestly, it was still a great win for him.
Moving on, are you ready to admit that I have supreme knowledge when it comes to UFC fights and making predictions?
Ooh, Justin Gaethje.
Because I said Fiziev coming off the couch was going to be the reason he didn't beat Gaethje. And I think it's fair to say...
Whoa.
Hold. Let me just finish my point.
Couch?
Hold on. Late notice. This guy wasn't...
Okay.
This guy wasn't locked in like he should, like he was preparing for a fight, right? So I'm calling that off the couch.
Okay.
Because I think 90% of fighters are always doing some sort of training, even if there's no fight. At least based on the stuff I've seen. Most guys are just, even if it's a few times a week, and then they get into a camp and it's every day.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm calling that off the couch. If he was locked in like it was a full fight camp, preparing for Justin Gaethje, he would have won that fight. I'm saying that. And that's what I predicted would happen.
No, you're correct. I give you that. But remember, I picked Fiziev based on their first fight, knowing all these things as well. I just thought maybe Gaethje just wasn't going to be. And remember, I wanted Gaethje to win. I've said this. I want Gaethje to win, but I just feel it's Fiziev's time for the passing of the torch. Thankfully, I was wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong in a situation like that. The guy that I really wanted to win actually won, but I was trying to give a fair assessment of what I thought based on the skill set. Round one was trending in Fiziev's way. And then I don't know what happened. Gaethje is like the same thing with the first fight. He made some adjustments, and he started to take over. I actually thought he was going to start wrestling for a little bit. I was like, oh, shit, Gaethje's going to Nah, he's striking again. It was a great fight. That was a fun fight to watch. I think he said to him, let's never fight again. It's like,
Bro, I mean, yeah, what was it? 1-1 going into third. And I think, bro, Fiziev just looked tired. If he had, like, a little bit more, I think he would have edged it out. He would have figured something out.
yeah. And that's a real thing about short notice fights. People think, oh, don't compare them to you just because you don't train. I'm like, you just can't redline when you don't know when you're actually going to fight because you redline your body. You're going to peak too soon. You're not going to perform at your best. You get injured. You got to be on somewhat of a middle ground, going up or going down at the same time, recovering. And then when that opportunity comes, you're ready to pull the trigger on a short notice fight like that. So kudos to Fiziev. He still made it a really fun fight, very competitive, almost got it. But Gaethje, locked in, full training camp, still inspired, still hungry to want to fight for the belt. Dude, I don't think anyone could be disappointed with that type of performance. Got another bonus. I think they said he's 14 for 14 for bonuses out of his fights, which is insane. I want to see what's next. I hope he gets the next shot at Islam Makhachev. I know people were saying Poirier, but honestly, with Gaethje's window closing, I think you got to capitalize on this. He took a gamble against Max Holloway, got put to sleep in a fight where he was pretty much guaranteed next to have the title shot at Islam, and then rolled the dice, lost. Then Max goes down to 45 instead of just staying at 55. I'm like, yo, bro, what is happening with this game? I just don't get it. You go up, you look great, you beat the next guy in line, then you go back down and cut all that weight all over again.
Wait, so you're telling me you think Gaethje should get the title shot over Ilya?
I think the next guy who should get the title shot should be Justin Gaethje, based on his circumstances. Father Time doesn't wait for anybody. What's he going to do, wait a whole nother year to fight?
Bro. So you're telling me I can get knocked out and then beat a guy who's ranked below me, and I get a title shot over the guy who's like cleared out two of the greatest featherweights of all time?
It sounds crazy.
Just because I'm older and I like.
It sounds crazy, but the UFC does what the UFC does. Dana even said it's not too bad of an idea for Justin to fight Islam. So there's got to be something there. He's exciting. People love him. He's fought for the belt before. There's some history there. He lost to Oliveira, lost to Khabib. Now he has another chance to fight another daggy guy and bring home gold one more time. I just don't see it. I don't think one or the other deserves it, but I think for what he has done in the division, I don't see why he shouldn't be a shoe-in for the title shot. That's my take on that.
I don't know.
Because if he fights Ilya first, when's he going to fight? June?
Bro, I think he should fight like Armin or something. Like now,
yeah,
Armin
that ship
has
is
a guy.
sailed. Armin's gonna have to fight one more time. Dana already.
That's what I'm saying.
I think Armin should be next.
No,
but that
Gaethje
ship
should
is
fight
sailed.
Armin.
The who?
Because bro, you can't risk losing the Ilya and Islam super fight. That has to happen. If you give Gaethje that shot, there's a solid chance that fight never happens because Gaethje could beat Islam. Then, also, do you really want to see Gaethje fight Khabib/Islam one more time?
Yes, because this is more of a stand-up fight. Islam will stand and trade with Gaethje a little bit. I think Islam, out of all the Dagestani guys, for the most part, is the most well-rounded, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, but bro, every time Gaethje's fought for a title, it's been against a sick grappler, and they finished him. Why would Islam take a different? Why would Islam give Gaethje the chance to stand and bang with him? Like that's what Gaethje wants him to do. That's my opinion.
Maybe
I'm
Islam is
genuinely
crazy.
asking.
Islam, this
If I'm,
Dagestani guy, brother, he might be crazy. Who knows?
I don't know. I think if I'm Dana, I'm going. We got a super fight here. Let's make this. Armin needs another fight. Gaethje just beat Fiziev, up and coming guy. Let's give him Armin. Winner gets a title fight. And then we guarantee that Ilya and Islam fight each other.
Gaethje versus Armin, Ilya versus Islam.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not mad at it. One of these guys is going to have to wait, or they're going to have to stay busy with another fight. And no matter how you slice it, somebody's going to be pissed. I think the right call, Islam versus Gaethje. Be done with that. Ilya's younger. He gets more time to fill out into 155. He can fight the winner of that. Or if he doesn't want to wait that long, maybe he fights somebody else. Or you do Islam Ilya first, and then Gaethje decides to wait and fights the winner of that. It's just whether or not he's going to be okay with waiting almost a year, at least 9 months. Because if Islam comes back for June after Ramadan, right?
Yeah.
Then when do they fight? When would Gaethje get a chance? I don't know. So it's a tough situation. It's not like neither one of those guys deserve it. They both deserve a shot. They both have a long, decorated career, especially Gaethje.
I mean, I guess if Gaethje does somehow beat Islam, then that's a sick fight. Ilya versus Gaethje. That's another sick fight.
It's a barn burner too. It's a stand up delight.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
So I don't think there's a loser in this situation. I think either one of these game plans are good, and maybe the UFC needs to hire me as matchmaker.
I think there'd be some good matches from that. How about Jaylen Turner saying he's going to retire? What would your message be to him? I think he's going through it.
You know, I don't really know what Jaylen Turner's going through right now, but it seems like a lot of ups and downs mentally. I've been there before. I know the pain of you get to a certain point, you get knocked down, you try to build yourself back up, you get knocked down again, just thinking that you did everything right. You took the time off, spent it with your family. Like you said, fighting is hard. Training camps are hard. The weight cut. The most fun that you have is actually being in the fight, whether it's getting your hand raised or not, but that is the most fun you have, even if it's not coming out with the results that you wanted. So I understand and I empathize with him 100% because I've been there multiple times. And he has to do his best for him. You know, if his heart's not in it, that's how you get hurt. I thought he fought a great fight in the beginning, was doing some really good stuff, landing some good shots, forced Bahamondes to, it looked like he pulled guard, defended the shot and looked like he pulled him into his guard. Maybe there was some IQ situations there where, you know, he could have landed a couple shots and then just get out of the guard and stand back up. But I don't think he lost it was a round one finish, but I don't think it was a loss where you were completely outclassed. I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing one mistake that caused the end of the fight where he was looking really good up until that point. So I think he needs to take the time with his family, do some soul searching, maybe take some time off again, maybe take some time out of the gym completely and just seeing if he misses it. Because if you miss it, that's going to be the deciding factor of whether or not you want to come back. You know, the last thing I want to see is him come back and do this because other people want him to do it or he just needs the money and then gets hurt even worse, you know. So got to find the silver linings. He had a great career, made it to the top 15, I believe. High-profile fights, fought at UFC 300. Like, he's done a lot of crazy milestone things for such a short time in the UFC. I know he said he's been fighting for like 12 years. I think I've been at this for like 14, maybe 15 now. So I get it completely, man. It's not easy. This game is about endurance. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon, and you have to truly love everything about it. And even for me, like I've talked about after my fight with Mosar, it's just like, what do I do next? I want to compete, but at the same time, I'm like, what am I competing for? Am I competing with the aspirations of getting to the belt again, or competing just because I like competing? You know. So for him, everyone's goals are different. So hopefully Jaylen Turner finds peace with his decision, whatever that's going to be, if he retires or if he continues to fight. And I understand him having a family, wanting to be there for his kids and things like that. So it's not an easy decision. Hopefully, if he does decide to hang it up, he has something else waiting for him on the other side. And may he continue to just be prosperous in whatever he decides to do. You know, I don't think anything is as hard in life as wrestling and fighting or any type of combat sports. So I think when you have that mentality, you can really push through anything and be successful at anything that you want to do. It's just about having that fighter mindset. And I think Jaylen Turner has that. So maybe not for fighting anymore. Maybe that chapter has turned. Or maybe he does decide to come back and give it one more crack and see if he can turn things around.
You ever been at that point where you were like, fuck this?
Oh, of course. And, you know, my first two losses, back to back, man, split decisions. And it wasn't like I lost by nothing crazy. One fight I still think I won. The other one I think it was a draw. It should have been a 10-8 first round. Should have been a draw. Or I could have even possibly won the second round. You know, just watching back and looking at the scoring and especially how they score fights now, it's like those fights burn because you lose two. You know, if you lose your third, you're more than likely getting cut. And I was at a situation where I was talking about fighter pay. I was very vocal about that. And I know that's not like the favorite thing for the UFC brass to hear people complain about. But it's like, you know, I was just speaking from the heart, speaking on things that matter to me. And I knew of my next opponent being a crazy ADCC world champion and things like that. And Taquinho Mendez, who's actually O'Malley's jiu-jitsu coach now. So fighting him on my third fight, I'm like, yo, if my grappling isn't good to up to par like this guy, I'm probably getting cut. I'm going to have to dust off my resume paper and start applying for some teaching positions and coaching positions because I don't know if I'm going to go back to the regional circuit to fight all over again to try to get another shot to get back to the UFC. So there's a lot of ups and downs with things like that mentally for me. And then, of course, the knockout after Marlon, considering do I have a chin if I can't sit in the pocket in a firefight with anybody, like anyone at all, because I don't have a chin, then what am I even doing? This is a very dangerous spot to be in. You know, obviously it was a devastating knee from just shooting in full speed and somehow the knee just landing right on my chin from a freaking body kick. That stuff fucks you up, man, mentally. So I've had my fair share of ups and downs. And from that, I was able to go on a crazy run, beating all these ranked guys, undefeated Brett Johns right after a big loss like that, who was riding high after a 30-second calf slicer over a guy who submitted me 5 times in 5-minute round, and Joe Soto. Then Cody Stamen at the time, who was on a tear as well. So, you know, so I fought a killer's road. Jimmy Rivera, top 5. Pedro Munoz, top 5. Corey Sandhagen, top 5. Then getting a chance to fight for the belt, losing by DQ, having the world. Like, I don't think anyone could really question my path in this sport or the amount of adversity I had to face and just trying to bounce back mentally. So it just depends on where your heart's at. So that would honestly be my message to Jaylen Turner. What do you truly believe in? Where's your heart? What makes you happy? Does this still make you happy? Because if it doesn't make you happy, then I don't think the octagon is a place to be. So that's my 2 cents, and that's my story as well.
Well, I mean, how about Ruffy with that spinning back kick knockout? That was insane. What do you think his trajectory is?
I think Ruffy, man, I wasn't sold on him yet because obviously the level of talent he was fighting wasn't the highest. But this was a great test. I do think Bobby Green is past his prime years at this point. But that's, again, that wheel kick that lands on anyone, they're getting dropped at the very bare minimum, and they're stunned really, really bad. So with that said, for him to land that, fake the kick, throw like a fake left hook, and then spin into that, the perfect timing, land that beautiful kick just flush. I was just like, oof, this kid is truly a problem. And I compared him to Conor McGregor when Conor came on the scene early in his career, came out with that long stance, lead arm, nice and loose, backhand cocked and ready, just flowing. And he showed that, man. I think he's going to be a problem for anybody. I think he's a very violent dude. And I'm interested to see who they match him up with. I don't know if he's going to be the champ because we haven't seen his grappling yet. But he has a very good shot at potentially fighting for the title if they give him the right matchups. They give him a guy like Paddy Pimblett. I can see Ruffy touching him up early, but then if Paddy can get to his legs, take him down, that's a problem. That's not a matchup you want to make right now. You give him Gamrot. Gamrot's a gamer. He takes a lot of shots, but he's willing to walk through the fire to get you down. And once he does, his gas tank is like a Marab. He's just going to keep on going, won't stop. So there's a lot of fun fights for him. And I'm interested to see. I'm on the Ruffy train. I'm just curious to see who they pair him up with next. I know he's calling out Beneil Dariush. That's a big name.
That's crazy.
I don't know if they'll give him Beneil. Like, if I'm Beneil, I'm going from Renato Moicano to this type of style. That's a big... I don't know if that's a fight that I would want to take where Beneil Dariush is at in his career currently. You know, you want to maybe get back on a horse and hopefully put yourself in a position where you can maybe fight for a title at least once. And Beneil needs one good win, I think, to get that opportunity. So that's a tough fight if I'm Beneil, unless the UFC is going to guarantee something for him. But again, that's high risk, high reward in a situation like that. Kind of like Dustin Poirier versus Benoit Saint-Denis. Benoit Saint-Denis. Benoit Saint-Denis. BSD.
I mean, I feel like BSD was a little more proven though. No? When he got the Poirier matchup?
Based on... I mean, he didn't fight a lot of big names other than the one ranked guy was Matt Frivola.
Was Bobby Green ranked?
BSD fought Bobby Green?
No. I'm comparing Ruffy jumping up from Bobby Green to Beneil.
No, I don't think Bobby was ranked. I'm pretty sure he wasn't. But
yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying, Beneil doesn't have nothing to do right now. So
I feel like that's a dangerous fight for Ruffy.
No, of course. If I'm Beneil, I'm like, I'm trying to get to the belt with the most favorable matchups possible. Of course, you can't turn them all down. But if I can have a different option, please give me the other option. The younger, hungry lion at 28, 29 years old doing all kinds of crazy spinning shit versus Renato Moicano, is a good BJJ guy, decent stand-up. I'd rather fight that guy. Also well-known, very well-established versus the up-and-comer, surging prospect. If I'm Beneil Dariush, that's not the fight that I'm looking for. I will take it because I'm a fighter, but it's not the fight that I'm gunning for. I think Ruffy's going to have that problem because I think a lot of guys are probably going to turn him down.
Does Ruffy have good grappling?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. And I think if there's an opportunity for Beneil, he could probably expose that. But then again, he can also get laced up by the guy who's a lot quicker on the feet, a lot more quick twitch. He bounces in and out. He's not just cutting angles. Like, he can step back and then come blitz in with some strikes. That's like super athletic ability. Not everyone in the UFC has those gifts, So that's not a favorable matchup. But again, it's a fight. Once you close that distance, you gotta still come to me in order to land those strikes. Beneil can strike on the feet, but again, is it a favorable matchup stylistically? Probably not. But can he win? Especially if he gets him down. Beneil's grappling is high level.
Yeah. All right. the UFC is rumored to be in talks with the FBI to potentially teach MMA.
Yeah.
So I was curious if they asked you to teach them, what would you teach the FBI?
First, before I teach them, those motherfuckers need to give me a badge and make sure I need a PBA card for life. I would teach them the rear naked choke, of course, how to take the back, how to transition to the back, and that would be my main thing. Maybe some front chokes. I got some pretty solid front chokes, so I think I could help them in that department. Just how to defend themselves in that regards.
All right, and then, do you think our law enforcement should be required to train martial arts?
Oh, 100%. I think anyone in public service should be able to defend themselves, especially if you're carrying a gun, because now what's your easiest line of protection is the gun. So I think most people are scared, and when they get into hostile situations, especially if it's unarmed, the first thing that they, at least what I feel from my experiences that I've seen, that I've heard, people tend to pull the gun first. It's actually kind of scary.
Yeah, I feel like if I don't know, I feel like it would kind of make our law enforcement a lot more respectable, and also like if you make that position more admirable, where like guys are training, they're harder to kill, almost like Navy SEALs kind of thing. I feel like that would just make our whole country feel a lot safer, you know?
Yeah, imagine cops coming into a situation and some guy is acting goonish and acting crazy, and he's just like, yo, calm down. And the guy's still acting crazy. He's like, you want to go to sleep or you want to calm down? And then you're just like, all right, I'm going to chill. I'm going to chill.
Yeah. And then, like, I remember, like, back in COVID times when there was all those riots, like, there was a couple shootings where, like, the police opened fire, and, like, right before they opened fire on the guy, like, they were, like, almost grappling. Like, they were on the ground scrambling, like, fighting each other. And I'm like, yo, if this guy was just a blue belt, he would have been able to de-escalate the situation before shooting the guy. You know what I mean? Like, that happens pretty often. Guys get close to each other in those type of encounters.
100%. You ever see those situations where the cop and the civilian are talking shit to each other, and then they, like, square up, and the next thing you know, they're throwing hands? I respect that so much. I respect the hell out of that so much. Because it's like, yo, man to man. It's like, I'm not going to use my badge and my gun and hide behind that. I'm going to address the situation. Like, you got a problem, you want to address it? It's like, obviously you can't go just fighting everybody, but when you get people acting crazy and they're talking about they're going to swing on you and all kinds of crazy shit, or you're not going to do nothing, a cop that could protect himself, you know, you're going to gain a lot more respect that way.
Imagine they didn't know who you were and they tried to square up with you.
Well, that would be me provoking a fight, knowing what I can do. That's kind of a little unfair, which I don't think I would ever put myself in a situation like that with a cop.
Yeah. All right, that's all I got.
But if they did want to square up, they can get these hands. They can get these hands. What hands? You don't throw hands. Go watch my fights, man. Go watch my fights. I don't know what the fuck y'all talking about.
See a whole lot of grapple fucking.
Just not the O'Malley fight. Don't watch that one. That was not a great fight.
Yo, that's so fucking funny. Wow.
I wrote that caption from that picture that we took at the gym. Marab, I was like, damn, this would have been cool if O'Malley was here. And then Marab was like, oh. I was like, let's Photoshop him in on one of the guys' heads. Like, just Photoshop O'Malley's head in. And then he's like, okay, I got an idea. 1 second. He goes to the car. He gets the hat. He gets the doll. He brings it in. I'm like, yo, this is going to be funny. So then I write the caption. I'm like, yo, we're having fun. We don't want to be dicks. Like, we're not being dicks. So I was like, I write the caption. I go, Marab teaching O'Malley wrestling, O'Malley teaching Aljo striking, and Torniki teaching everybody judo, ippons. So I was like, this should be funny. It's not like malicious or anything like that.
It did well?
It did very well.
The post? Good. All right. That's all I got. You got anything, Funk Harbor?
No, if I do, I don't know if I said this, but if anyone has any retail stores, liquor stores, or places like that of interest that you would like to have carrying the Funk Harbor, please send their contact my way. Talk to them and have them contact me or vice versa, whatever, and we can get that set up, no problem. We're trying to work on the expansion right now, but we need to see where people want the product. This way we know where to invest the money for marketing and things like that. It's a long game, but I'm just excited, man. Staying in shape. We got training tomorrow. Gonna train with Kassane later in the night. We have 6:30 p.m. He wanted to do 7. I was like, brother, please, at least 6:30, because I know it's Ramadan, so he has to wait till he can actually eat and then fuel up before training. So we're gonna do some 6:30 training. Get some good training tomorrow morning. One other thing I want to talk about, though, last thing. I don't know if you saw this fight, Myron Santos versus Francis Marshall. A lot of people
No,
calling
I
this
didn't
one a
see it.
robbery. Myself, I wasn't calling it a robbery, but I was very confused on what I was watching because I was like, what did I just watch that the judges saw completely different? Santos won 29-28, and there was 130-27 for Francis Marshall. And this is what I'm talking about with the scorecards. It's like I just would like to have an opportunity to talk with the judges or for them to at least post their opinion on why they scored a controversial fight the way that they did so that we can look at that as fighters, as coaches, and understand what the judges are looking for so that we can better prepare for these fights. It's actually insane.
Yeah.
Someone, I'm not going to say who, someone sent me a text after the Marion Santos fight saying, like, just the emoji, like, I don't know, that Santos outstruck him and everything like that. But I'm watching the fight in real time. I'm like, I didn't quite see that. I want to go watch it again, actually, today. I only need to see the 2 rounds. The first round obviously was close. I had Santos winning until he got dropped. Just got to check those 2 rounds out again. And I even heard the first fight was bad scoring as well. So you never know, man. I know they said don't leave the fights to the judges, but sometimes it's extremely hard, especially if both guys aren't going for broke. You can't expect to just go out there and be the one that goes for broke and get countered and be the one that ends up as the highlight, So you got to take calculated risk. And unfortunately, Francis Marshall came up short. Myron trains here at Extreme Couture, so I see him all the time, train with him a few times. We're not like big training partners or anything like that. I wanted him to win, but then when I watched the fight, I was kind of like, I think Marshall's going to get it. Then they announced the decision. I was like, damn, I have no idea what I'm looking at anymore. So I need to go back and look at that for my own sake, So, yeah, that's what I want to say about that. You could timestamp that one because I know people are very interested in that. A lot
for
of people
sure.
on Twitter were saying that was a robbery. And of course,
I mean,
I have to be a little impartial. I'm not going to say those exact words, but I definitely thought the decision went the wrong way. But kind of like Paddy Pimblett and Jared Gordon, Pimblett got a fight that a lot of people thought should have went Jared's way, but then Pimblett came back his next fight, looked even better, and shut up the critics. I think it was against Tony Ferguson, even though it was still like a dicey third round. He still won, dominated, I think, the first and the second, if I'm not mistaken. So with that said, Myron can obviously come back and remove all doubt with a very good performance in the next one. So that's what, if I'm him, I'm focusing on that, taking back some notes from this fight with Marshall, seeing what he could do better, and just trying to improve every single time. That's the best thing he could do.
yeah, overall, great card.
It was a great card till it got to the female fight, and I was just like, to have this fight right after Ruffy, I was just like, I was deflated after that. No
I don't know
disrespect.
how. Yeah.
Lemos just, I don't know. I was very surprised by her approach. Normally she's a lot more aggressive than that. So to see her kind of just be content with like hanging in guard, I was very shocked. I know grappling's grappling, but I felt like there was a lot that she could have done, which let that fight leave a lot to be desired. And to come off, like I said, to come after the Ruffy fight is just like, damn, kind of just took the air out of the room. But it is what it is.
Yeah. Word.
That's all I got.
Type shit.
That's all I got type shit. FunkHarborSpirits.com type shit. Check it out. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
The white rum is type out right now, bro. Go get that. It's type out.
It's out. Like, subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Stay safe. Peace.